We have an amazing piece today. Deals with things we don't necessarily deal with. As I like to say, sometimes the Shem MiShmuel lights up topics we know about. Sometimes he lights up topics we don't know about. Sometimes he deals with questions we know about. Sometimes he deals with questions we don't know about. So I would put this more on the questions we don't know about things. So look at the questions we're going to deal with. What does mazel, sheep and bull, tzla and shor represent? Right? We know that there are mazalim. Chazal definitely believed in the whole concept of mazel. The one hand, mazel Yisrael. Okay, that's a different topic, but right, we see in many sources where we do talk about the influences of mazel. Mazel means the certain way that the hashpah from a Kadosh Baruch Hu goes through the world. So there's a lesson of nozel, nozel, and every month has a different mazel, and that's what it talks about in I think Sefer Yetzirah talks about that there are mazalas. Right, every month has its own midah and its own mazel and its own shevet, etc. It's a whole book could be written about it. I think probably in Shem MiShmuel itself, someone could probably put out a book like that. I know my brother has a lot of Torah about mazalas, about chadashim. Someone wants to write it out, but anyway, on all different levels, more Kabbalistic. What? So these two, the mazel of Nisan is tle, and the mazel of we'll see. I think Iyar is bull. So what is that about? We have a halacha riyas pnei habayis at the three regalim, right? Every Jew, I think, that owns land, at least according to certain shittas, not everybody has to come, but if you own land, someone says that people from Chutz La'aretz would come. People from Chutz La'aretz do not have to come.
But they have land anyway.
No, but you have to have land in Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah.
And,
by properties.
I don't think, as I was wondering recently about Reuven, God and Chesed, Sheva, Menashe, Bernard, if they had to come. I don't think they had to come either, but either way, right? Every Jew living in Eretz Yisrael, the Iker Yishuv of Klal Yisrael, every male has to come and see a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Like, what was that like? What was that about? And here we have in our parsha, we're specifically how we're getting into stuff today. We have the counting. Moshe and Aaron involved in the counting. What's that? What's the lesson for us? So let's see. Yeah, it's a very interesting question. It says, Barashi, Kadosh Baruch Hu in our parsha counts the Jewish people. And it says that when Hashem comes to put his Shekhinah, comes to put his presence on us, he counts us. That's the effect. Now he asks a very, very pushy question in cheshbon, in calculation. V'yesh lavin, right? When is the Kadosh Baruch coming to put the Shekhinah on them? When the Mishkan was put up.
Yeah.
Right? That's the history. We left Mitzrayim. We left Mitzrayim on year 1, or year 0, what do you want to call it? And then we got to Shua 7 weeks later, and then the calf, and then the destruction, and then the rebuilding, and then the Mishkan, etc. And around a year later, 11 and a half months later, we're ready to put the Mishkan on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and that's when the Shekhinah comes back. That's when Nadav Avihu happened, etc. And that remains a big day, Ad Yom Hazeh, Aleph Nisan. Okay. But he says like this, are the counting, it doesn't fit, because he put the Shekhinah when? On Aleph Nisan. But the counting is on when? And Aleph Iyar, the second. Right? So Bamidbar, you're counting on Aleph Iyar, so it's not fitting. Rashi says, when does he put the Shekhinah? When he comes to put the Shekhinah, he counts them, but it doesn't work. For Iyar. He put the Shekhinah on first. So what's going on? That's a Pashakash. I never heard it before. Wow. Yeah? You get the question, Elior?
Not really.
It says, what's Rashi say? Kadosh Baruch Hu, when he puts the Shekhinah on, he counts them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that means when should he count them? Before or after putting on the Shekhinah?
After.
That's the question of the Shekhinah. But in fact, it's the opposite. He put the Shekhinah already on them with Hakamas and Mishkan, but Echa B'Nisan.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't count them until Echa B'Iyar. That's the counting of our parsha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so good. So now he's going to really explain it. Venera Alpi. So what we're going to get into, Rabbi say, this is super interesting. We're going to look at the only 2 paragraphs. Look how much Rabbeim is going to deal with here. It's incredible. We're going to get into what Nisan is all about. We're going to get into what Iyar is all about. We're going to get into what Riyas Pnei Habayis is all about. All now in our little thing. Wow. And we're going to be finished in 15, 16 minutes. Incredible. Let's see. Venera Alpi Ma Shehegi Kvo Kudush Avi Admor. The Nisan Hu Mazel Tleh. That's not what he said. Romish Yisrael Heim Klal Echad. The idea of Nisan, the idea of Tleh is the sheep. What are sheep? Sheep grow in a flock. You don't say, oh, look at the kokas of that sheep. Look how gavaldig it is.
Yeah.
Sheep go like flock, sheep follow. Sheep are a group, right? So there's obvious. So the idea that b'kedusha is the Yisrael is klal echad lavinim shebashamayim. Ma sein lo ela kol echad. It says, bah, right? Chazal say that Seh only has one kol. The who ritzui klal Yisrael, and that's the Kadosh Baruch Hu, like Kilo. The way Kadosh Baruch Hu looks at us in Nisan is as a klal. That's how you look at it, right? Here's the yeshiva. Here's my group. Here's my family, right? Just look at the family. Here's my family. There's all these kids. This is all the family. This is the whole family. The grandchildren, the great-grandchildren. So Kadosh Baruch Hu's yachas to us is like that. Romeis Yisrael hin klal echad lavim shabashamayim kamrid ma'aseh inu elecha kol echad. V'u ritzui klal Yisrael. And that's the rotzen for klal Yisrael. The Chemar mitzvah at Pesach, in the main mitzvah of Nisan, which is the Pesach, also Rosh al Krov HaKol Kechad. How do you bring the Korban Pesach? You have to put it all together, right? You don't want it all spread out. It's all ba'achtas, right? Maral learns the achtas a different way, but Rabbeim is learning the idea that achtas is it's all a klal. It's a remes to Klal Yisrael. Okay, the Rosh al Krov, it's all folded over. You don't break a bone. He doesn't say that, but you don't break a bone of the Korban Pesach. The Korban Pesach is achdus. You eat it b'chabur echad, and that's all a remes to Klal Yisrael. Maral learns it differently, but this is how the Shem MiShmuel learns it, right? So that's because that's what's happening. Achdus is what's happening, right? Klal Yisrael. But again, I don't want to say achdus because that's then everybody just thinks of achdus. It means the idea of like Kadosh Baruch Hu's yachas to us is as a klal, right? And a team. You could look at a coach can look at a team and he says, "Here's the team." That's what I'm looking at, where I could say, look at each player. Kadosh Baruch Hu looks at us as a klal. The Jewish people, Ata b'chartonu, Klal Yisrael was redeemed. Right? Kadosh Baruch Hu took outside all of it. Ach, Iyar, what's Iyar? Now it's very interesting. Mazlo Shorhu. That's a shore. Ritzu Yisrael mitzad pratim. Kol echad lechad alado. So Iyar is that Kadosh Baruch Hu judges each one on its own, looks at you on its own. And you don't know where are you, right? That's a shore. A shore is a bull. A bull is leadership. A bull stands out on its own. So that's the difference between a shore. Even when you think about it, right? When you see sheep, you always see them in a flock. You see cattle. You do see cattle a few together, but it's not like they're all together. They're like they're spread out. They're spread out. Right? Think about it. Sheep, you always see them all together. They're moving like it's not like one big furry white. I just saw it now. They're doing Rishis Agays. It's one big furry white movement. That's one unit, right? Shore, it's not. Right? The shore is Koach HaShore. The shore is by the. I think we saw another time that he brings down. The shore is called Melech HaChayot. Everybody talks about the lion, but the shore is also called Melech HaChayot. Melech HaChayot. And look at this. Who Rama's shots? This is brilliant. Karen Hapara came to Kai Gildi Mischazi Kishnai Shlosha Shofrot. It says you're not supposed to use the Karen of the shore because it's Gildi means it's like layers, right? The way think about a shofar. The shofar we have is like a nice smooth thing, but the Karen of the shore, its physical horn, is like layers. So what?
Like an onion.
It's on the outside. Yeah. It's like the outside. It's something like
hollow.
this. It's not this hollow. On the outside, it's no. When you look on the outside, it's like layers on, like lava. Like lava.
Yeah.
It's like something
That's
like that.
It grows. It grows that way.
It grows that. It's as if it's like so. I don't know exactly how it grows, but it's as if it's separate pieces. Like it looks like you're like a caterpillar. That's Marshall, right? What's a caterpillar? It looks like a lot of pieces put together. Boom, 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 right? Then there's a worm.
Like rings.
Rings. It looks like rings. Exactly.
Right.
A worm. So this is brilliant. This we saw before. So the Karen Para, it looks like 2 or 3 shofars. That's why we don't want it. So, but what's that about? So it's Gavaldi. The shore, its essence is its essence. What its point, poyenta, like you say in Hebrew. Some say that it's poyenta. Its point. The shore's point is individuality. Standing on its own, and we don't want that koach on Rosh Hashanah. He says somewhere else.
Wow.
Rosh Hashanah, we want the achdus. We want the Karen of another thing.
Like
but
Hannah said that she wants to be the cloud.
right.
Hannah,
But there's 2 times. There's a time when a person. So it's very interesting that the avoda of Nisan is a voda of achdus, and the voda of Ir is a voda of individuality. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu's ritzui means Kadosh Baruch Hu wants. Look, he says, "Achir mazol shorhu Ritzi Yisrael mitzad hapratim kol echad v'echad levado. What does the Kadosh Baruch Hu want to see from us? I'm adding a little bit. In Nisan, Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to see how we're shaykh to the klal. And in Ear, he wants to see from us how do you stand on your own. Yeah, I'm a klal person. Okay, good. How are you daven? Well, I go to minyan. Wait. Okay, good. Very good. You go to minyan. Yeshakah. But how do you daven? No, well, I don't daven at home. No. Okay, good. But right in Kaviyachol, on Nisan, he's asking, do you make sure to daven in a minyan? Yeah. You're part of the klal. On Ear, he's asking you, but how do you daven? But I'm part of the minyan. No, that doesn't fly, right? I'll make it very sharp. On Nisan, a person says, look, I daven really well at home. I have so much kavan at home. The Shmuel says, yeah, but Klal Yisrael is davening in a shul. Go to the shul, daven as a minyan. Good. And then Dalti Freshman at Tzibur. And then ER, he asks you, wait, how you daven? He says, oh, kavaldik, you told me to daven a minyan. I daven a minyan. Yeah, but how do you daven? I'm part of the minyan, I answer, are you Heshmi Rabbah? But where's your personal avoda? Where's you? Did you have any pshatim in the davening? You have some feeling? You have some emotion? You have some individual insight? Anything? Something? Mashu? What's the? No, I'm part of the klal. I'm just no. So it's a different avoda than Gansen. So it's beautiful that the 2 months we asked at the beginning. What is? They represent what's tzle and shor represent two different mahalchei avoda, and Nisan the avoda. That makes sense. I would just add a little bit weiter. Nisan was when the point of Nisan was Yitzias Mitzrayim. Yeah. That's when we became a klal. So it makes sense that's when our forever. That's the or achozer of Nisan is the or of Achdus, the or being of us being part of the klal. But now already no you did that for a month. Now you got to stand on your own. Yeah. Where are you? I'm part of the klal. It's not enough. Like you see that in. I say like a difference between the Litvish world and the Chassidish world. The Chassidish world is very, very focused on community in a good way, in a way the Litvish world doesn't have. But there's less focus on your own individual kochas. Wow. You just want to be a chassid. I'm a chassid bein a chassidim. I'm a Breslauer. Where are you? The Litvish guy wants to be the Talmid Chacham. So each one has a mile and a chisaron, right? Because you see Litvish people. It's less of a community. There's less of a community sense. We don't need a rav. We don't need right. But the guy wants. So the fact that someone doesn't want a rav isn't necessarily good in the shul, but the fact that the guy wants to be a rav is good, right? Because I want my individuality. What's my shot? He's going to tell us. So it's two sides. Okay, Binay. Okay, what does that have to do with anything? Let's keep going. Binay haramban b'ramban binyan haminyan ki yabal lifnei avi kol neviim. This is what he talks about in the minyan. I'd love to check this and get a chance of this. Ki habal lifnei avi kol neviim v'achiv kadosh Hashem, the one who came in front of Moshe, the father of all prophets, Va'achiv and his brother Kadosh Hashem Aaron, who know the Bamidbar Bishmo, Yilo b'davar zeh schus v'chaim. Meaning, listen carefully. When each yid came to Moshe and Aaron, that was like an elevation for them. The reason Moshe and Aaron are involved in the minyan, it was like an elevation, like a chassid going in front of his rebbe. The Kotzker said one time, how much I have to cleanse? His wife said something to him. He says, you know how hard I'm working to cleanse each one over here, right? Each time they would go in front of the Rebbe, it's like it's an aliyah to them. That's what he's saying. That's why they were in the counting. You need Moshe and Aaron to count. Get a computer. Get AI to count. No. AI is not going to count because that's Moshe and Aaron are giving something. Who know their name, he's known. V'shmo yilo b'davar zeh schus v'chaim. That's a schus v'chaim. That Aaron and Moshe know you. Yeah? That they know who you are. Wow. I remember my Rebbe said one time, Ari Finkel, remember my name. Like, I was so happy. Like this person. Ari Finkel, remember. V'yesh lahosiv zedvarim. Shekol ad batzo shemashar. Yesh lahosiv zedvarim. I want to explain further. Shekol ad batzo shemashar b'nafshe shubala amod lefnei Moshe v'Rabbeinu alo shalom v'achad kadosh Hashem. Imagine this, okay? I tell you, Elior, that's it. In 2 weeks, Moshe and Aaron are coming back to life. And you're going to have to stand in front of them. What would you do? Believe suffix sheichsher myself. The kibla Allah ba. Well, I got to do tikkun. I got to chuva. Start fasting. You're nervous. You're nervous from now. You know what I mean? Believe suffix sheichsher myself. He'll fix his actions. The kibla Allah ba. Who can you rias panim bazara? That's the idea of rias panim bazara. But say, why did Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted you to see? He didn't just want to see you. He wanted improvement beforehand. Kadosh Baruch Hu does a cheshbon. If the Jewish people is going to have to see me 3 times a year, and they do a lot of tshuva beforehand. Right? I know this. So when I go in front of certain people, I make sure I do tshuva first. Honestly, I do.
I come with my forehead just covered.
Right. Exactly. So that was part of the kavanah riyas panim. One, the Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted to see that. I wanted the preparation. Rabbi Schoonmaker, the Gadol Ador, said he used to like when kids would get tested. He said, "Look, it's a good investment. I sit with them for half an hour. They sit for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And they chazed their brains off because they know they're going to get tested by the Rav.
Yeah.
It's a good cheshbon. That's what he used to do. So he used to spend time very often. You see many videos of him testing the kids.
Wow.
That's very nice. You know what he's saying now? And that's why they could be mashpia on them. Because the Ramban is telling us what?
Yeah.
That Moshe and Aaron are involved in the minyan because that gives life. So the Shem MiShmuel is adding what we call a kanech, adding a step to that is the way Moshe and Aaron gave the life is because they came prepared. They came batikun. They came batara. Now they can be. Some goes in. See these guys one time. These husky. I saw that a picture of the Anuka made of bris. You see like these older Sephardi Talmidei Chacham kissing his hand.
Yeah.
And you see some politician like taking a selfie. You see a guy who has no shaykhs. You don't know what you're seeing. You're seeing these guys like kissing his hand. Like bachna. And this guy's taking a selfie like an idiot. I hate to say it. I don't know who he was, but. Because he doesn't understand what an Anum Gadol is. He doesn't understand what the Yunuk is. You don't get it. My Rabbi Rav Leich said one time, the worst thing is you go to an Anum Gadol with like a Chilon, he doesn't know what's going on. Hey Rabbi, what's going on? You go to Lubavitch Rabbi. High five Rabbi, how you doing?
You get let in faster. You skip the whole crowd of people that actually know what's going on.
Rabbi, what's going on? How are you? So what about the next Rabbi? So I felt that. So right.
Yeah.
So but now Klai Yisrael, you go in front of Moshe Aaron. Now Moshe Aaron can give Chaim, right? They did. V'hu beautiful. Okay, Mashikasav being Yirmi im Yabba Moshe v'Shmuel lefana ein nafshi el amazeh. Perish Rashi Moshe v'Shmuel shebikshu rachim im al dorim ichzir mikodam lemutav. V'ata shenat hamachzir lemutav ein tfilas mekubel salim. Okay, I'm not sure what he's adding with this, but let's go further. Okay, new paragraph. Good.
Yeah.
Valkein. Kishikol echad tiher kol komaso machmas bolav nehem aleim hashalom alkein haisa moil eskusam aleim lashbil lem chayim v'schus. Right. So you're coming, right? Same thing. Like people think they go to Omen. Think it's a joke. No, I think Rabbi Nachman writes. If you come and you want makabel on yourself, the person thinks, I'll go to Omen. Again, I forgot what Rabbi Nachman exactly wrote, but there's conditions there. It's not like you just it's not Christianity. You come, you just believe in Yashka, give 5 Hail Marys, and go, do the same thing you're doing. It's a thing. Rabbi Nachman will fight for you, but you gotta be in the fight yourself. It's sometimes it's not a joke. You'll make it into a joke. It's not a joke. So it's a beautiful thing. They would come to Moshe and Aaron, Hikun, and then Moshe and Aaron would be mashpia on them. Kol HaChaim, Kol HaAva, Kol HaTov, Kol HaChaim, right? But it's a big lesson. Well, we'll talk about that. V'alken kishikol echad tiret kol kamato machmad bol lefneim ala yom hashalom alken hayta mo'il zchutam aleim lashbil lem chayim v'zchut. Now Rabbi say after all this, he's getting to the answer. What was the original question? The original question was, wait. How does this work? What's up here, right? It says the Kadosh Baruch Hu is coming to Mashri Shechina on them.
Yeah.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he counts them when he's coming to Mashri Shechina. He counts them.
Yeah.
But the Shechina was on Aleph and Nisan, and the counting is a month later on Iyar, right? But Bamidbar is an Iyar. What's going on? So now, everything he said, Kedarka B'Kodesh. That's how he always answers things, right? Here's a question. I'm going to show you deeper parts of what's happening. Now the question will make sense. V'zeu perish kishibol lashrod et shchinat oleim benam hainu shebishvil haminyan nasin ru'uya v'nirsan lashrod shchina. It's not stam through the minyan. Through the minyan, you're going to be fit for Shechina. It sounds like automatic. I count Shechina. No. I'm going to count you, which means you're going to go in front of Moshe and Aaron. You're going to go in front of Moshe. What are you going to do?
Work hard.
You're going to work hard. You're going to prepare yourself. I'm going in front of Nashim Gedolim. It's not stam. I have to get ready for this. And then the Shechina is going to happen. Okay? That's the idea. So that's Binei Klal Yisrael La'olam Nirtzeh L'fnei Hashem. Now we get to Nisan. But guys, in Nisan, Klal Yisrael is always good. The Klal is always good. Who has problems?
What?
Who has the Bulls?
The Bulls, right? Exactly. The Bulls. The Bulls have problems, right? The Bulls have problems. They didn't need the minion. They didn't need the minion in Nisan, right? The idea is that Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to. It's not magic. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to be Mashur Shechina, means he wants to give us life and Chaim and Or and all the good things that Shechina brings, right? And you need a minion for that. But in Nisan, you didn't need the minion.
You call Yisrael. Klal.
Why? Because you're Klal Yisrael itself. Klal Yisrael, the Klal is always near. So I want to talk about that. I'm saying more in a second. Klal Yisrael la'olam near tzim l'fnei Hashem. Even when our meisim are down, Sameach b'chalko, Kadosh Baruch Hu is always happy with us. Alkein b'nisan she'yisrael near tzim mitzad haklal lo yinitzrachel. We didn't need the minyan. We need the Torah. Rak bechad l'chodesh hasheni shitchil hashor hashchina gam mitzad haprat. Alkein hitzricha l'minyan. That's when we need the minyan. Right? Incredible. So he asked. Right. So he asked at the beginning. Wait, what's up? The Ashras Shechina was in Nisan, and the minyan was later. So he said, well, it depends. Ein Hanami, there is a connection between minyan and Shechina, but what it means is the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to be mashpia. That's the idea of Shechina. And in Nisan where Klal Yisrael is standing klal, I don't need the minyan to be mashpia. You hear it? In Nisan, I don't need to the minyan to mashpia. Because you're tzlag, you're a klal. And the klal is always near tzad. In ER, how do we stand? Like individuals. Individuals, you better fix yourself. You better fix yourself, right? And that's why we needed the minyan in order for him to be mashpia. Incredible brilliance. So both say so what's the lessons? Right? So what is Mazel Sheep and Tzlag God that we have? What happens at Riyas Pnei Abayis? That's what we explained, right? We're with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but we that's what I learned from this. We prepare ourselves. Now, guys, that'll be the situation now, right? A person, a yid sitting right now is thinking, oh, I'm a week away, right? A week and a day from Kabbalah Satorah, a week away from Riyas Pnei Abayis, and a week away from standing with Kadosh Baruch Hu. I better fix myself up. Yeah, I got to start now. It's coming, right? What were Moshe and Aaron involved? Why were why were Moshe and Aaron involved in the counting of Klal Yisrael? Because it wasn't stomach counting. It was just a computer. You get a Lazar to count. No, they wanted to.
He tries to work hard.
They wanted to create the situation of giving Schus V'chaim to Klal Yisrael, and the way they're doing that is that Klal Yisrael gets ready as they come in to meet, and that's why it had to be Moshe and Aaron. What's the lesson for us? We'll say two lessons for us. One is to be part of Klal Yisrael, right? First, there's two lessons. There's 3 or 4 lessons, but one big lesson is that there's different avodas for different times, right? When people don't get it. Again, it's hard to key into that. Someone like Tzvi Meyer every day is a different avodah. Every Shabbos is a different avodah. It's too much. Shabbos itself, he breaks down to 15 different pieces, literally. Shabbos by him is 15 different pieces. There's the avodas of Kiddush, and then there's Mariv, and then there's learning after Mariv, and there's learning before davening, and there's the mikvah, and I'm serious. And he writes literally 56 times. So that's too much for our bandwidth. You know what I'm saying? For most of us, right? But we have to know every chodesh is its own thing, and that for sure. There are times that we stand as individuals, the time we stand as a klal, and a person develops himself in 2 ways. One thing we have to know is it's good to go in front of an Asham Gadol, and it's good that people you're scared of. I'm scared of my Rabbeim. And people say, oh, why would you want such a situation where you're scared? No, it's good that there's someone that here I am, I'm Rashiv, I'm saying sure, yeah, but I know, Rabbi Achman, you know what I mean? I can get away with jokes to him, you know what I mean? He's not going to buy it. He wants to hear real stuff from me. He's not like, what do? You sit over Shem MiShmuel. That's what you did. Like, well, come on, right? So I'm scared of them. So it's good to be scared of people. People don't like people they're scared of. I mean, I don't mean you don't want to be scared of an Arab. You know what I'm saying? Those people we shouldn't be scared of, right? But we're talking about to be scared of an Hashem Gadol, but to go in front of them is a good thing. People avoid that. That's full. You have to go. You go to a big tzaddik. It's good because it'll get you ready. Baruch Hashem, they were lucky. They had Moshe and Aaron calling them.
Getting tested.
They had the Riyas B'nai Abayis. Right, a person could have a test. I don't want to go to a test. I'm going to test. Get over it, man. You know what I'm saying? Prepare. It's good. So that's stand up to the challenge. Have a connection. Have some shaykhs to people that you're not always comfortable in front of. And the other big lesson is you see an incredible thing. The Klal Yisrael is always ratzui. That's why you always have to feel part of Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael didn't need the minyan. Think the same person. Think about what he said. The same guy. On Nisan, he didn't need the tikkun, right?
Yeah.
On Iyar, you're going to need the tikkun. Yeah. On Nisan, you don't need no tikkun. Why? Because you're part of the klal. Kadosh Baruch Hu, it's an unbelievable line, and there are many. We see this idea in many places. Hinei haklal, hinei klal Yisrael la'olam nir tzilifnei Hashem. Klal Yisrael is always good. Kadosh Baruch Hu always loves Klal Yisrael. Individuals, like we see, Rosh Hashanah. No individual has a promise. Yeah, the klal has a promise. That's why a person thinks, and we'll end with this. A person thinks someone has to do for the klal, raise money for the klal, clean up the shul. Nah, it's not good for my davening. It's not good for my learning. Do something for the yeshiva. it is not the best thing for me to learn with this chabrusa. I can't take any time. I am in yeshiva to accomplish. Of course you're in yeshiva to accomplish, but you don't get it. That by you being part of a klal, you're doing for yourself. The klal is what helps you. So Ami Nochi Yoshevis, the pasuk you said. When people run away from klal things, it's good to be part of a klal, just to be. Like everything, it has to do with time for the individual of the club. But the idea of being part of a club is that I'm not going to daven with a minion because, if the people are talking all the time and davening, so maybe it's better to daven with not that minion. But you have a good minion of people who are trying to daven, the Yerei Shemaim, they're trying to daven. It doesn't have to be even big tzaddikim, but Klai Yisrael is trying to daven.
So the Gemara we saw Bitul,
Okay, all right, that's it, Rabbi. All the best. Shalom.